Hello and welcome to Cigar Night. My name is Rick Guzman, and we are doing something a little bit differently for this week's episode. We're doing a audio-based only episode. We're going to be talking about college, the college experience. What is college? What is this thing that we spend so much money to go and do? We're going to be talking about that today. I'm also going to be smoking a Rocky Patel Vintage 1992, one of my favorites. This topic is great because it comes up a lot in discussions with friends. In my personal friend group, my close friend group, we all have different backgrounds and opinions on college. Some of us went to college and graduated. Some of us went to college and wasn't really for them. Some went into the work field right away after high school, and then some joined the military right away. But it's great because we all are friends and we all want to achieve higher goals and be better people. Future episodes, I would love to have someone come on and talk about their college experience. But for this, I wanted to try it in a way that what would I tell myself if I was going into college again for the first time? What advice could I go back and tell myself? School started recently, so this is potentially someone who's listening, who's thinking about college, or someone who's starting college and they feel like their life's a mess. Well, relax, it's going to get worse. But if you push through it, if you stick with it, things will get better. I promise you. The one thing that I tell everybody who's thinking about college is make sure college is for you, because college isn't for everyone. And what I mean by that is you should know yourself as a student, as a person. If you didn't like sitting in a classroom for an hour and couldn't listen to a teacher and just that wasn't the way you learned, because for some people that's not the way they learn. You know, they don't like learning that way, and they don't like learning from a textbook, and that's completely valid. If that's you and that's not who you are and didn't like that in high school, then college might not be for you. And that's completely okay, right? Like, it's okay to not go to college. It's acceptable. People might look down on you. Your parents might be disappointed or whatever. But it's you, and that's your opinion. And I know so many people who didn't go to college, and they're doing so much better than me. They're doing so much better than other people. So it is possible to still be successful. Some people have different interests in jobs. They don't need a degree, you know? So it's completely valid. If college is not for you, don't spend your money on it. You know, I've heard professors say that. Don't spend your money going to a college if you're not going to take advantage of it. If you're just going to waste your time, don't do that. You know, your money is very, very important. Don't spend your money on that stuff. The other side of that spectrum is there's people who are so eager to learn, but they can't afford it. They can't afford school. And what I say to that is you should really consider yourself as a priority. I know people who lived at school. And I don't mean they lived in a dorm on campus. I mean they lived wherever they could find that night, wherever they could sleep that night, just so they can go to the school, because they couldn't afford a dormitory. They couldn't afford that. They would shower in the gym showers. That's how they would shower. Wherever they found to sleep that night, that's where they would sleep. Like, I know people like that. And it's so heartbreaking. It's so sad that's a reality of college, because it is so expensive. And at that point, I look back and I realize, like, man, like, yeah, like, I applaud you so much for trying this, but at some point, you got to step back and say, look, I can't afford this. I can't keep going like this, living on the street, living under a tree, sleeping under a tree, because I can't afford to sleep, and I don't even know what I'm going to eat tonight, but I'm going to go to class the next day. And I applaud you so much, because that is much more strength than I have. Like, I don't know if I could do that. And maybe that's why this is my opinion. But I would look back and say, look, I'm doing all this for a little paper that doesn't guarantee me a job. You know, yes, college is great. You learn a lot. But that little piece of paper doesn't guarantee you a job. You still got to go out and find one. So putting yourself through all this and then you still can't get a job, that's tough. I said in that position, look, college can wait. I got to figure stuff out right now, because if I can't afford college and I'm going to put myself in thousands of dollars in debt, right? I'm going to get myself in so much debt that I need to be in a position where I can at least pay some of that, at least some of that tuition up front, or find a job that can help me out. At least find a place where I can sleep and put myself in a better position to be successful in school. Because if you're doing all this, right, you're pushing yourself into studying and things you can't afford in school and tuition, but you're stressed out about life. You know, you're so stressed out about these things that your grades are going to suffer and you're going to fail a class, and then you're going to be here even longer, you know? So why not step back and look at this and say, look, I need to fix something. I need to fix myself first before I can finish college. And that's okay, because the beautiful thing about college is that it's not a race between anybody else, right? It doesn't matter who finishes first between your friends, who gets their degree first. That's not the point. That's not how it is. It's on your pace. It's what you can do at that time, how much you can afford and how much you can handle. If your parents are pushing you, that's not right, because this is on you. This is your degree. You're earning this, not them. And if this is all you can do, if you can only take one class a semester, if you can only take one class the whole year because that's all that you got time for and that's all you can afford, oh, great. Like, do that. You know, do what you can do yet to be successful and to also be in a spot where you can be healthy and successful, and can afford, which is the most thing, because college is so expensive. And you know, a lot of people look down on community college, and hey, community college is community college. It's still a college, you know? There is no shame in going to community college. I have a lot of friends who went to community college first and then transferred to a university. That's completely okay. They're there for a reason, because, again, you want to put yourself in a situation where you can afford to go to university, to afford that, hey, I can't afford all 4 years, but if I can do some community college and knock some classes out on the side, I might be in a better position later on. Do that. You know, a lot of people, I remember, were like, oh, I don't want to go to community college. It's college. It's still a college, and you're doing something with your life. It doesn't matter where you are and where you're going. The fact that you're putting yourself through this and trying to get a better education is great, and I applaud you for that, for trying this. You know, if all you can do is community college, then do community college. It's great. It's awesome. It's still college. And if you can go to university afterwards, then you do that. You know, that's awesome. But it's what you can do, and it's a race against yourself. It's not a race against anybody else, right? It's at your pace. And if it takes you 5 years to get that bachelor's degree, then it takes you 5 years. And anybody else can go screw themselves, because it's your life. You're earning this, not them, right? Don't let anybody push you. On the other thing, so what is this whole college experience? What is this something that the whole notion of college experience? Well, from movies and stuff, I think you see a lot of the parties and frats and, oh, all I do is party and drink, and to an extent, you know, maybe it was the university that I went to. This isn't a regret I have, but personally, I didn't experience that. That wasn't my college experience. Though I know people who are like that, but that's not my experience. And the reason for that is I avoided all that because I knew that I was paying to be here. Yeah, I know that I'm paying to study, that I'm paying to learn, and I'm wasting money. I'm not wasting money, but I'm spending money to get this education. If I'm wasting it by partying and drinking, and then, well, I guess that essay is done with. Like, yeah, no, that's not how your mindset should be. Not saying that I didn't go out and party. I mean, yes, I was in college, but I treated myself to it. If I had an essay due, if I had homework due, I would do that first. And if I didn't get to finish my homework, then the party's, I guess I ain't going because I got to finish this paper. I got to finish this homework. That was my mindset. That's how I did it. I feel like it was somewhat successful in that, and that's a good advice for some people. What other advice could I give? The freshman 15 is real. You gain 15 pounds. I think I gained the 15 pounds in that first semester. It's crazy. It's a weird time. College is a weird time. You don't eat, yet you're gaining weight. You study for tests, yet you fail them. It's weird, man. Like, college is weird. And you're gonna get so stressed out way in the beginning. I have a lot of friends who are coming into college, and they ask me, like, hey, like, what advice can you give? And I say, look, the first day of classes, you're going to get so pressured. You're going to feel, like, overwhelmed. Because you're going to get these lists of papers and your schedule and your syllabus and tells you all the things that are due, and you're going to say, I'm not going to be able to finish this. I can't do all this. Relax. All right, you're going to feel overwhelmed, but just stick with it. The thing about it, what makes the first semester so hard and the first week or so in the semester hard is that you're trying to figure out how you're going to do everything. You got to make yourself a little schedule. I never, ever have I ever made a schedule, had a calendar. That was not me. Like, that was not who I am. In high school, that was not who I am. When I got to college, though, I realized, I need to start writing when things are due and, like, when I have things to do, because before I could remember, like, oh yeah, like tomorrow or in a week from now I got to do this, and I remember it. Now it's like, man, I have no idea what's next week. Let me look at my calendar. And it's okay. Like, if that's not who you are, it's okay to do that. There's no shame in it. I'm doing it. But you're gonna feel stressed out about work, and the best thing is make a schedule for yourself. Know what times you're going to work on things. The thing about college, and man, I can't stress this enough, I really loved the college setup of classes. Now, I don't know how all other colleges are, but at least for my college, you don't go to the same class every day, right? So, like, Mondays and Wednesdays, you have a class. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you have a different schedule. You go to different classes. And as a freshman in college, I was like, this is great. Why was it not like this in high school? Like, I love this. This is amazing. I don't go to the same classes every day. Hell yeah. Like, that's awesome. I found myself with so much free time. Because in college, you might have, I don't know, maybe, 2 classes a day max, 3 classes a day, maybe just 1. And you're going to find yourself with a lot of free time. Especially if classes are in the morning. You're going to find yourself with a lot of free time. But it's what you do in that free time that dictates what kind of student you are, right? If you use that free time to go hang out with friends when you could be studying, there's a reason why you get so much free time and why classes are set up a certain way. Why it's one day, yes, and one day you go to a different class, and potentially you can put all classes on one day, and let's say Mondays you have all classes and Tuesdays you don't have any classes. There's a reason for that. The reason is, yeah, you got a lot of free time, but you got a lot of homework to do. You got a lot of projects. You got a lot of essays to do. So it's what you do in that free time that dictates what kind of student you are. If you use that free time to go and study and knock out your homework, then you are in a better position to be successful in college, right? So use that time wisely. Use that free time. That's so important. The one thing that college taught me that I didn't learn in a class, like no class covered this. I learned this because I had to. The one takeaway I had from college was how to prioritize. Knowing what my priority is. And that's so important in life. I use it so much out of college. It's crazy. Again, with the calendar. Again, with making a schedule for yourself. You got to prioritize what is more important. And I'll use an example of projects. Homework. The way I always knocked it out was if you have a big project due in a week, but you have homework that's due in 2 days, what's due first? Is that homework due first? Great. Knock out that little homework first so you can concentrate on that big project, right? Do it in things that are due first. That's the way I did it. Now, it might be different for other people, but that's my advice. I had to prioritize, okay, yes, that project's more, but this is due first. I'm going to knock this out first. Boom. Now I can focus on something else. With that being said, College 101, it's okay to take L's. What do I mean by taking L's? You're going to find yourself during midterms, during finals week, that you got 2 projects due at the same time, or you got something due. You got an essay due in one class and a project due in another. You got to take the L to something sometimes. If you can avoid it, you can avoid this if you prioritize throughout the semester and know what's due first. You can prioritize. But it happened to me one semester. It happened to me my junior year of college, where I had 2 major projects in different classes. And I knew that I couldn't do both at a level that I could get an A in both. Like, I knew that wasn't going to happen, right? I did my whole calculations, and I knew that it wasn't going to work out that way. If I did a little bit of both, maybe I could, maybe get a C on both, But that's not who I am, right? I don't split time between 2 things to get little C's and everything, right? So I did this whole calculation. Now, you got to do this, right? Because in the syllabus, you have percentages, and you know how much homework and how much projects are due, how much % of your grade they take. So I did the calculations. And this essay on the class was a little bit less. It affected my grade, but not as much as the project did in the other class. So what did I do? Well, I took the L. This essay, I said, I'll wing it. We'll figure it out later. But I'm going to concentrate on this project. I'm going to take the L on that essay, and I'm going to do this project. And I did. I focused all my attention on this project, and I got an A in it. I got an A in the class. It was a really hard class. One of my proudest A's I've ever gotten. And the other class, I got a C in it. I passed with a C. It's C+, by the way. C+. But I took the L on it. I said, well, man, you got to take the L. Like, sometimes you just got to take the L. And it's okay. But you got to be smart with it, right? The L doesn't mean that you just don't do anything. I'm taking the L on everything. I'm taking the L on all the classes. No, that's not the point. Taking the L has to be precise. It has to be calculated. Taking the L, you got to know what you're taking the L on, and you got to take the L on the last thing that affects your grade, right? So, like, if you have a homework due, but you got an essay due, usually the essays are worth more than the homework. So the homework, hey, I'm sorry, not going to happen, but I'm going to do that essay. Take the L on homework, right? You don't take the L on the major projects. That's rule of thumb. You don't take the L on the major projects. You take the L on the lesser things. So anyways, that's my College 101 thing. Oh, another College 101 tip. C's get degrees. Say it with me. C's get degrees. Yeah? C's get degrees. It's okay if you get a C because C's get degrees. You might not be dean's list, but you'll get a degree. C's get degrees. Remember that. Don't live by that rule though. Don't. That's not a good rule to live by. It goes back to that L. Sometimes you have to take the L, and okay, you get a C, but hey, I still passed. Whatever. So yes, College 101. That's some college tips. Some college tips for you. I never lived on campus. So I didn't get that experience of living on campus. That's something I didn't really experience. I think it's valid if you're out of state, if you're from another city. I was fortunate enough that I lived somewhat close to the university, so I didn't really have to live on campus. That kind of helped me though. in the sense that I feel like there's so many distractions on campus. There's so many distractions. And I would finish and I would come home and I would knock out homework here at my house because I could concentrate better. I couldn't work at school. There's way too many distractions. But to each their own, to some people that's what they like and they can do it. So, and I think that also came with the whole Nat party thing. I didn't live there. I didn't get that whole college experience. That part of the college experience, the whole partying and drinking and stuff. And I think it's fine. I don't regret it because I knew what career I wanted. From a very early on, I knew what career I wanted. And I knew that I didn't want to jeopardize that through drinking and parties and doing stupid things. So I was very, very careful. And even to this day, I'm very, very careful on that sort of stuff. I'm very, very careful with that. College is great. It's a very, very important tool. Important might be the wrong word. It is a tool that you can use. But overall, wrapping everything together, bringing everything to a conclusion. College is good. Yes, it's a tool. You can use it to your advantage and you can learn a lot from college. Not just about what you're studying in your major from classes, but also about life. Meeting the people that you meet, talking to them, people from out of a different country. People, I've met people from London. I've met people from Saudi Arabia. I've met people from Japan, from Korea. And hearing their story, it's so beautiful. It's great. It's awesome. So college is beneficial. Yes, you do learn a lot. Again, not just through what you're studying through your major, but also just life in general, and people's stories can teach you so much. Again, college isn't for everyone. If you're debating whether I should go back to school or should I even go to school, if you're debating about it, really think about who you are. Really think of, I learned good in school. I need to do this. I want to do this. If you have the urge to go back to school, do it. If you have that itch that I want to, do it. If you can only afford one class out of semester, do it. One class of college, hey, that's one class of college that you took. Yeah, I went to college. Took a class. Definitely. If you have that itch to go to school, do it. And if you can put yourself through college and walk that stage with the degree, then I would suggest it's worth it. It's going to be worth it. If you're in college and you feel like, oh man, this is just never going to end, it will. Just push yourself through. You'll make it. I promise you'll make it. Right? It can get stressful. It's going to get stressful. Those late nights, those all-nighters, that's real. That's a real thing. But stay focused. Stay focused and you can achieve anything you set your mind to. With that being said, thank you so much for joining me here today. My name is Rick Guzman. This is Cigar Night. Catch us again next week and stay classy.